You may well know the Kia Niro as a hybrid, and if so, you're probably also aware that it can be a full EV too. You may not know, though, that you can additionally have it in a form in which it could be argued that you get the best of both worlds. That's the plug-in hybrid variant we look at here.
We had hoped that this second generation Niro plug-in hybrid model's significant increase in battery size from 8.9 to 11.1 kilowatt hours might have brought a greater increase in EV driving range. In the event, if you select the provided EV button for all electric motoring, you'll find that it's risen to around 40 miles with this second generation model, up from around 36 with the last versions of its predecessor. As before, you get a more powerful electric motor than the one in the ordinary Niro hybrid. It's 83 bhp in this PHEV. But the familiar 1.6 GDI, normally aspirated petrol engine it works with, is much the same, and in this form puts out 180 bhp via a 6-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox to the front wheels. Takeoff is smooth, and if you flex your right foot enough to try and match the quoted 0 to 62 miles an hour time of 9.6 seconds, the petrol engine will kick in quite quickly with a noticeable thrum. Best to relax the throttle a bit and go with the flow. It's certainly not worth regularly using the provided sport mode, which brings heavier steering and wakes the petrol engine up a bit earlier. The sport setting also changes the functionality of the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which aren't fitted here because annoyingly you don't get them with this test car's base 2-spec level of trim. Where fitted, the paddles are usually used to allow you to switch brake regeneration modes. In sport, they become gear shift paddles. In town, when you're merely using the E-motor, this Niro feels pleasantly smooth and refined, and the electric motor masks some of the delay when the 6-speed DCT gearbox is required to kick down. If you're a tower and need some element of proper EV motoring, this PHEV Niro variant makes far more sense than the EV version, because towing capacity rises from 750 to 1,300 kilograms. At first glance, unless you spotted the badge work, you'd probably mistake this Niro plug-in hybrid for the full EV version, or possibly for the self-charging hybrid model if you failed to spot the extra charging flap. Subtlety, as ever, with a PHEV is the keynote here. But it isn't the keynote of this second-generation Niro model's styling, which is a good deal more extrovert than that of its rather dull-looking predecessor, particularly if you avoid this base-trimmed version and stretch instead to top 4 spec, which gains a rather overt coloured blade covering the C-pillar. Time to get behind the wheel. Inside, the dash you get depends a lot on how much you've spent. This base 2-spec model makes do with the Kia's more basic 4.2-inch Supervision colour cluster instrument display and an older tech 8-inch centre touchscreen. There's a more old-fashioned gear stick than you get in other Niros, but this plug-in hybrid does share with its stablemates this central touch-sensitive strip, which hosts either the climate controls or the infotainment system hotkeys, depending which of its 2 display settings you've chosen. All the right eco boxes are ticked too, thanks to a cabin headliner made from recycled wallpaper, and faux leather upholstery fashioned from a bio-PU material containing healing eucalyptus oil. As with the previous generation Niro, the seating position is a fraction higher than the norm, and across the range, the seats are well upholstered and supportive for longer journeys. There's plenty of cabin storage space too. Right, let's take a look in the back. Here's where the real benefits of that switch to this Mark II model's more sophisticated K3 platform are revealed, thanks to 20mm more wheelbase length. There's space in the rear for a couple of 6-footers. It feels almost EV-like, with more legroom than you'd get in any other class rival. Headroom's good too, and will be even with a sunroof fitted. Plus, the centre transmission tunnel's not too prominent, so if you had to fit 3 adults in the back here for a short trip, it'd probably be easier than would be in the case with most cars in this class. You won't be choosing this plug-in hybrid version of the Niro, though, if you prioritise boot space. Because of the placement of the drive system battery beneath the cargo area floor, that falls to just 348 litres here. You can see why this plug-in hybrid model takes such a small proportion of Niro sales. The ordinary self-charging hybrid variant gives you strong economy without the faff of plugging in. And if you are going to plug in, why not go full zero emissions with the Niro EV? It's not quite as simple as that, though. Spiralling fuel prices make filling up a self-charging Niro hybrid ever more expensive, and the disappointingly patchy current UK EV public charging infrastructure could deliver range anxiety wherever you venture further afield in a Niro EV. Such are the reasons for the continuing popularity of PHEVs, and amongst cars of this genre in this price bracket, the Niro Plug-in Hybrid certainly has appeal, particularly in this second generation, guys, with its significantly larger battery. It's pricier than we'd hoped it would be, but unfortunately nearly all its competitors are too. At least there's a bit more want one factor this time round. Unplug and play? That concept might make a bit more sense with one of these.